Hey guys, welcome to another video where I will be designing an e-commerce homepage for a brand called Chewies Gummies. This is not a real brand, by the way, but this is just like a conceptual homepage I wanted to design just to show you how I approach designing Figma, and if maybe you can learn one or two from my process, or if there's something I'm doing wrong, you can let me know down in the comments below. So let's start. I'm going to start off with, usually I like to start with a nav bar. I like to design that at first. So let's start with that. From my reference design, I'm going to copy the logo and I'm going to paste it here. Chewies. I love the name actually. Sounds very delicious. So we have the name here, Chewies, and it's Arborea Black 24. We're going to start designing the link items. Now I'm going to hit T on my keyboard and hit it here, and I'm going to call the first link shop. A couple of things we want to change here, and that will be our case. Taking any styling out. Our link item font is Inter regular. Keep it at 16, and everything else stays the same. I'm going to hit Shift A to do an auto layout. I mistakenly hit Shift 2, which is for zoom, so Shift A. Now I have it in auto layout, so vertical and horizontal padding of 8, and I'm going to call this link item. Now what I want to do is convert it into a component, and then I want to make it in such a way that we can easily edit the text. So I'm going to come to the top here, hit this, click plus, and then it's a text value shop create property, and that's what we have here. So now that means that if we option drag this, or if we duplicate this, or make a copy or a variant of this, we can easily tweak the text and it updates automatically. So the first one, as I said, is shop. The second one is about. So I'm going to type about, and as you can see, it automatically updates here. The third is reviews, and the fourth is FAQs. Put everything, I'm going to put all the link items, not the top one, just these ones, the variant, into auto layout. Call this link container, and I'm going to make this white a variable, so I'm going to call it white just because it's a color I'll be reusing very frequently. So that I already made this color, which is a variable which is called Chewies orange, so that we have it. The next thing I want to do is make the spacing between the link container 8, and I want to introduce tiny circles in between these elements. I'm going to hit O and K, and then make the circle 4 pixels, so 4 by 4 pixels. Move them into the link container, and there we have it. Now I'm going to change this from white to Chewies orange, and change this to Chewies orange as well. So we have this as our first component, and I'm going to put this into an auto layout as usual. So put it into an auto layout, call it container, and we head on to design the next element. Now beside this in the navbar, I want a profile icon and a cart icon, so we're going to design that. My plugin of choice for this is Iconify, so I'm going to type in user, and I'm going to probably choose this because I like this, and I'm going to do cart, scan through it, see if I can find something I like. I love this. Over here. So both are 48 pixels, but I think what I want to do needs to be pixels of 44. And I need to put it into a frame and all that. So let's start with it. I'm going to put this into a frame. The frame wouldn't have, maybe let it have color. This can be any random color for now. This is going to be set to, I'm going to hit K first because I want to set it in a particular size. I'm going to do 44. Come here, do 44. And change this into an auto layout. Make it 44, 44. Now we have a perfect square. Make it centered. And there we have it. I'm going to option drag to duplicate this. And the child element is 17.6 pixels. So I'm going to make this. I'm going to hit K first. Or I might jump in the gun. So 17.6, cut it, and then I can paste to replace here. Just make it a random color, say black, right? So that's what we have. Put this into auto layout, no spacing, 0. Now what I want to do is make this white, make the container, the library color of which is Chewies orange. This I'm going to set to 999. This wouldn't have a fill, and this is going to be white. Another thing I want to do is set a pattern, so maybe 4, and in terms of radius I'm going to do the highest, which is 999, and set a color, maybe something gray. In my reference design, it has a color of F3, F3, F3. So I'm going to copy that, duplicate, and paste it here. So that, and this becomes Chewies orange. So now we have these two. We're going to combine them. Let me call this pale container. Just trying to keep everything clean and nice. So we're gonna hit Shift A for auto layout, and there we have it. The spacing between this, I'm gonna change from 195 to auto, and this frame is gonna be called navigation. I'm gonna set it to 1440. Keep it as hag because I'm gonna be adding some padding. So the side by side or horizontal padding is going to be 80, and the vertical padding is going to be 16. I'm going to give it a feel of white, and yeah, this is what we have for navigation. It looks really lovely. Now let's move to our hero section. For the hero section, we're going to maintain a width of 1440, so I'm going to set that now. The height is most likely going to be 900 pixels, so let's set that as well. And the thing about this hero section is that it's not going to contain any internal padding. Rather, it's going to contain 2 boxes that are going to have padding. So we're going to add the first box. Going to make the color gray, and then another box. I'm going to make this auto layout, and as you can see, it's added some vertical and horizontal padding. We're going to take that as well as the spacing. So we're going to select the box, hit enter, and now it's automatically selecting the child element. I'm going to set both to fill in terms of width and then height. So this is what we have. So this box I'm going to make white. This box is going to contain some content, and this is going to contain the imagery. So this box would also be set to auto layout and would have padding of 80, both vertical and horizontal. And in terms of spacing, I'm going to set it to 24. And we're going to start with the H1 heading. So I'm going to hit T on my keyboard, tap into that, and the text is feel good. Zoom in a bit. Any day. The font is Source Serif Pro, size 96. Font is in bold. So this is what we have. I'm going to set this to 85%. This is a -6, which works. And I'm going to make the color Chewies orange as usual because I love Chewies orange. Moving on, we're going to do the paragraph text, which I am going to just paste from my reference design because there's a lot. So I'm copying that now. I'm going to hit T and I'm going to paste it. This is enter. The font size is 20. Everything maintains as is. I'm going to set it to fill and it's looking really nice. I'm going to increase the spacing to 40. And everything else looks nice. Next is the review section. So I have some stacked circular icons here, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to hit O. And these circular icons are 54 by 54 pixels each. So I'm going to zoom in a bit, hit K, turn this to from 100 to 54. And I'm going to do Option drag, Shift A for auto layout, set it to horizontal, and add a third one. They're going to have a padding, a negative padding of 24 or a padding of -24. So let me do that now. And now they are stacked. My plugin of choice for introducing imagery, especially like avatars, are Content Reel. Especially like avatars, right? It's Content Reel. I'm gonna go to image, type women, and I think I'm gonna go for this. The good thing I like about Content Reel is it doesn't matter how many elements you have. Once you have them selected, it's just gonna paste into those, which is super amazing. I'm gonna change this one just so that I have about the same. Okay, these ones are the same color. Let me just change this one as well. Yeah, I think this works. Actually works really nicely. Now the next thing we have to introduce are stars. You can do this by using Iconify or just coming here and then using the star shape. Mind you, everything is in an auto layer, that's why it's stacked vertically at the moment. The stars are sized about 24, 28. So let me just hit K, make it 24 or 30. Yeah, 30 works actually. I'm gonna add some corner radius just because it's too, let me zoom in a bit. It's too sharp. Scared it might just hit someone. So let me make it 8. Okay, maybe it's too much 2, or let me make it 1. Yeah, 1 is perfect. The color for the star is this. Okay, selected the wrong thing. Is this, right? And then I'm going to Option drag or Command D, depends on what you want to use, and the stars would have to be 5. So I'm going to add 2 more stars. So Command D, and the spacing maybe set it to 4. How's it looking? Not bad. Now the next thing I want to add are the reviews. So I'm just going to Option drag because I'm going to use the same font and give it a random number. So this is going to be 9,257, and I'm going to add reviews. Come here and set this like so. And now I'm going to change this to hug and auto layout both of them. They would have spacing of 8 probably. Maybe let me make it 12. Total height is 57. Total height here is 54. So let me make this a 10. Yeah. And then I'm going to combine these and have them stacked on a horizontal level. Set here. And this is what it's looking like at the moment. Now I want to add, the last thing I think I want to add is a button. So let me first work on the spacing here. I think it's too much. Let's say 24 works. And let's work on the button. The button is going to follow a very similar design style like this pill container. So I'm just going to drag that. I might change the name to label or button. Let's say button. Scrap that. Button. Yes. Now instead of the icon here, I would have some text. So I'm going to copy focus, paste it here, send it here, delete this, set this to hug, and what we're going to have here is shop now. I'm going to come to the casing and set it to none. We're going to have a spacing of 16 and a general padding of 12. See if 12 is perfect. 12 is actually not bad. What I want to do is add more padding here. So say 20 so that it can be visually balanced when someone looks at it. Now I'm going to come here and change this icon to, use an iconifier of course, to arrow up right. See if I can get something. Choose this one. Replace icon. It's really super easy to replace icons when you're using Iconify, or like you're using an icon from Iconify. That's one of the reasons why I like to use it. So I'm going to make this white. In fact, I'm going to make it this color, and then I'm going to set this to white. Good. Now I'm going to just delete the fill. In fact, delete the outer fill, and this is what we have. It's looking weird at the moment, but it's going to make sense very soon. I'm going to hit enter to select all the child elements and shift A. And now what I can do is I can just adjust it a tiny bit all together and set it to center. I like how this is looking at the moment. Now let's include the image on the right. The image on the right is one of those images I generated with AI. So I'm going to copy that now and paste in this section. Okay, it's pasted. I'm going to remove the backdrop, which was this gray color that I didn't like. So this is what we have now. I'm going to call this hero section. Sweet. Now the hero section also has a background on its own in my reference image. So that's what we're going to copy now and paste it into our design. Yes, this is it, and it's looking really nice. I'm going to tweak it a bit. So I'm going to add an overlay of white, and this is how it's looking. I think it actually looks really good. What I want to do is, since both are set to fill, I can move this here a bit to center it. What I want to do is also set it to crop, so that gives me the ability to zoom in a bit. Okay, let me just zoom, just to make it a tiny bit bigger and more bold and bring it closer to the hero section. Yes, this is what we have at the moment, and it is looking amazing. I love it. So now this is the hero section. So we have that. Let's do the next section. So the next section is going to have the best sellers, and as usual, it's going to have a container that has a width of 1440 and maybe more than 900 pixels. So we're going to leave that for now. We're going to change it. So let me call it the best. So let me call it sellers section. And in this section, we're going to have two main containers, but the main container is going to have a bounding padding of 80 by 80. So that we're going to set and everything else in it we can't delete, including the background. I'm going to set it to white. And the first thing we want to do is work on the eyebrow text. So let me in a second I'll show you what an eyebrow text is. So let me just zoom in, and I'm going to include a text and call this best sellers. That should have a font size of 18. Okay, so I'm going to do manually set it to 18. Oh, it wasn't selected, so 18 should work now. Yes. The other thing I want to add to it is a pale. Go to Iconify, just because this is sort of like a gummy pale. Or let me just type gum and see what happens. Gum. Let me type gummies. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a pale because it's sort of like a nice medical thing people can have. I'm looking for a cute icon. This looks very minimal to me, so I'm gonna choose that. This is black. You know what? How about use this one? Yeah, I prefer this. Something mono colored, so something like this. Probably that. Yeah. So this has a height of 13. So I'm gonna make this 12 because I really like to have them sort of around the same height. Maybe 13. I'm gonna make it 13. I think 13 should work. I'm gonna put it in, so these two, oops, go back, drag it here. These two I'm gonna put in an auto layout, set a padding of 8. I think I'm just gonna increase this to 18. I like the size and I think it works. Let me just stack this to the top so that's easier and it gives you an idea of what I am doing. So yeah, I call this an eyebrow, but let's see what the next element looks like. So the next element is text. It says discover our most loved products. I can easily copy this, paste it here. This is going to be a vertical stack and the spacing is going to be 20. So I'm going to do 20. This is going to be set to 100. This minus 2%. And I'm going to paste the text. Yes. So this is what we have. I'm going to put this into an auto layout and have this set to fill so I can stack it. So discover our most loved products. So this is what we have. So the next thing is introducing the product. It's going to be a column of 3. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and that would have its own auto layout. So we're going to start with the first image. So it's going to be an image and another image and another image. But let's start with the first one. I'm going to set that to a padding of maybe 8. See how it looks? Not bad. And it's going to have some text and all that. So what the text that is going to have is the name of the first product. It's called Sleepy Support Gummy. I'm going to copy that, hit T, paste it. So this is going to be in an auto layout with this. And then we have about 4 more elements stacked in this auto layout. So we're going to do 4 more. And the second one, which is going to be a bit of a description for the product, is going to go here. And that we're going to leave like this. The second one is going to be pricing. So this is going to be 19.99. Font size 24. Enter. I'm probably going to make it, yeah, semi-bold actually works. This stays as is. And we're going to have a review element here as well. So I'm going to just copy this because I want to reuse a lot of my elements and paste that here. This is going to switch to regular, set to 14, like the same element. The stars and the reviews are going to be stacked horizontally. Center align them. This sits at 10, so I'm going to make this 10 as well. Although I think 18 should work. Yes, so this is how each container in the column is going to look like. I'm going to set this to fill. And everything is looking good actually. I'm going to duplicate it and auto layout it and have them stacked horizontally. Sorry. I'm going to set this to fill, hit enter, set it to fill. And then now I see I have to make this set to fill as well because it's not being contained in its container. And then I'll make the last duplicate. Now let's check the spacing between them. The spacing between them is 16. Check to confirm it's 20. I'm going to make it 16. And it's looking nice. The spacing between the title and the products is 40. And so far we are at 900. Oh, okay. Let me set the layout to hug. Oh, it's in a group. Also, make it auto layout. And then I can set it to hug. And I'm going to call this. Oh, let me just ungroup this because I don't know where it came from yet. Set this to hug. Now what I want to do is set some of the images longer than the other. So this is going to be a bit longer and this is going to be a bit longer just to add some dynamism to the design. Now I've noticed that I have another color that I have not made into a color variable. So I'm going to do that, which is black, because it's a color I repeat the most. I'm going to add it. So it's going to be called black. Simple, create variable. Change this. So anything black should go there. So I'm going to just select this as well. Anything black becomes a black variable. Anything orange becomes this. And yeah. Now the next thing I want to do is set this to Chewies orange because I want the pricing to be a bit different. Plus I'm going to change the actual value as well. This element just appears in this section. Other than that, I've made it a component, but because it just appears here, I'm just going to leave it as this. But the best practice is to keep this as a component. So down the line, if you want to change the whole styling and maybe send this here, for example, once you have it done in the component, everything just replicate or sort of it applies to everything else automatically. That's the word. So it's super easy. But because it's just for this section, I'm just going to leave it as is. So now let's start importing the images and then we can change the copy. So I'm going to start importing the images. Looking nice. Second one. And then the final product. I actually had a blast using ChatGPT to generate these images. Not ChatGPT, but another AI tool. I like to use Envato, and Envato has an AI gen feature that allows you to basically get a lot of these features that ChatGPT 4o has, for example, for free. Once you have the Envato subscription, which is amazing. So yes, so the first one is $19.99, has 263 reviews, and the stars this time around are black. So I'm gonna do that. Change it to black, and then I think some stars, for example, are grayed out. So I'm gonna choose. Should I just keep it like this? So I make it 50% or maybe like 40% or something. It makes it more easier, right? So I'm just gonna copy this, and then I'm just gonna paste to replace. Yep. The second one is Brain Boost Gummy. How many minutes are we in? About 30 minutes. But we're almost done. Oh, on the second section. Let's keep going. So the moment I'm changing the copy a bit, this is 22.99. This is going to be like maybe 97 reviews. This is going to be 118 reviews. And then the last one is hair, skin, and nails gummy. Description copied. We're gonna paste that simple. This is going for $15.99, and it has like 2, 3, 6 reviews, for example. Yeah, so this section is ready. This section is looking nice, as you can see. We're gonna move. I think it passed. Yeah, so 973 hog. So that's all right. We're gonna move to the next section. Next section is also pretty simple. We're gonna call that the why ask section. Or let me just say the why section. That is going to have some elements here. So I'm going to keep, let me just keep everything and let's see how we're going to tweak it. This primarily is going to be a centered layout. You would see that here it's sort of left aligned, and everything else here is set to fill, but this is centered. So I'm going to select this and hit center, and this I'm going to hit center here. So this is what we're having, and we're going to change the text. So this says why gummies, and this says wellness. No, should taste good. I'm gonna, okay, we didn't suggest taste, so I'm gonna just put it there. Now we have some text here which is 16 and it's medium, so I'm gonna just copy this and add it to this, make it centered, and I'm gonna copy the text from this section and I'm gonna paste it here. So it's medium 16, and this is the copy that goes here. It has a different color as well for the background. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here. So this is the color. Now the next thing we want to do is work on the section here. The section here has this and this, so we can delete these two. And then it has some icons and all that. So what we want to do is just delete this as well, and then we can come in with the icons. So the first icon, also gotten from Iconify, we're gonna put it here. It's a 48 by 48 pixel icon, and this is set to 20, and this is set to 14, which matches the design perfectly. I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna add some spacing. So let me check this, the reference. I'm gonna do a spacing of 40 by 40, and I'm gonna set it to fill, select white, and then maybe set this to 16. I think 16 is about right. So the other three elements would, take on a form very similar to this. I'm just going to copy this, come here. So I click the parent layer or the parent container, hit enter, and I paste to replace. And so this is what we're going to have, and we just have to change the icons and the copy. So I'm just going to do that now. So for the icon, replace this, paste to replace, and then same with the copy. And then let's work on the last one. This goes here. Copy this icon. Oops. Paste to replace, and lastly the copy. Okay, we have everything almost there. And what I want to do is keep this. So this section, I want to add like an extra internal padding, which is going to be the horizontal padding to it to make it a bit tighter. And this is what we have. And then I'm going to set all the elements to fill in terms of height. So it's equal height. So there we have it. We have a height of 561. I'm going to make it a height of 650 to look very clean and have some space. So we're done with the white section. Now let's move on to another section, which is how it works section. So I'm going to do, just going to duplicate this and call it how. So the how section. This is going to maintain this, but it has a very different structure. So what we're going to do is, it has a very similar structure to the hero section. So I'm going to duplicate the hero section, bring it here, and I'm going to move this, copy, and have it replace this. And that's about it. So I'm going to drag this here, and I'm going to call this the how section. So this is going to be the new how section. The reason why I'm doing this is that, sometimes when you're designing, you have a lot of reusable components. Like you notice a lot of reusable components as you design. So it just makes sense to reuse these components or these elements rather than, designing it from scratch or reinventing the wheel for that matter. So this is the house section. We have to take some elements out for sure. So I'm going to take the image. I'm going to take this color thing. Everything is going to be out. This should have a color of its own. So I'm going to put like a white, set it to white. I'm going to move it under the image. And this is set to fill. This is set to 892. I'm just going to set this to fill as well. And the image set to fill. Now, the content here is still going to be centered. And we're going to use this. So we're going to change it to how it works. And the copy here says simple, science-based, seriously tasty. Oh God, I love that. Copy is really gorgeous. So let's just quickly set our color variables. The white becomes, okay, white still stays white, so that's cool. And this will be deleted. So this is what we have. I think this also becomes white, so I'm just going to do that. Yeah, this section is black, and well, not necessarily black. Okay, I think it's black on the reference design, so that works. Now we want to add something else, so how it works, and we're going to use some elements that we've used earlier. So I'm going to come up to the top, maybe just take this. I'm going to take the, should I take the whole thing? Yeah, let me just take the whole thing, option drag and move here. I'm gonna set this to hug. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove this and remove the padding. Everything set to 0, change the color to white. This becomes enter. This stays at enter and becomes 16. And the first thing in terms of copy that it says here is pick a goal. And this from better to clear skin. I'm gonna put that here as well. Paste and match style. This is going to be white. This is also going to be white. But in terms of appearance, I'm gonna fade it to maybe 50. Maybe 50 is too much. Let me make it 70%. Yes. So there's sort of a clear distinction between them, right? The next thing I want to add is a circle. So it's going to be an auto layout circle, and then it's going to have a stroke that will be dashed. And then we can put an ellipse or something like that in it. So let's start it. So I'm going to do T01. Make sure it's enter, shift A for auto layout, and make it 40. Or let me make it 60. So 60 by 60. Yes, so 60 by 60. If I add a stroke of white and set it to 999, we have this perfect circle. I like the stroke, but I want to individually set this color to something else. So I'm gonna have to disconnect it and set it to maybe 50%. And I'm gonna make a duplicate of this. Take the number out of it. Set the stroke to 100. And I'm going to change it from solid to dash. The next thing I probably want to do is set a fill. Okay, this isn't working because it's not a circle. So I'm going to delete this and make a new one. So this is 60, so I'm going to make this 60. So 60 with 60 height. And I'm going to break it like so. Add a stroke, white, and I'm gonna dash it, delete the fill. So now I have this really nice dash I can use. Yep. So what I'm going to do is copy this, cut it, paste it here, set it to absolute positioning, and set it to the right. Now what I have is something really cool. The idea is, let me set the stroke of the auto layout even lower to 30. Now the idea I have here is that the image on the right is going to change after this loads up. So it's going to change after it loads up. So that's why I have this here. I'm going to choose the ellipse and tweak the dash a bit. So let me say 4. Yeah, 4 looks good. So I'm going to add this to this, shift auto layout, center, make it like horizontal, and then move this here, left, center it, and set maybe a padding spacing of 24. Yeah, this works. I'm going to duplicate it and keep all this 3 in an auto layout. And the reference document is set to 32. This becomes 02 with the ellipse hidden, and this becomes 03 with the ellipse hidden. So once this loads up, this one comes whilst the image changes. So basically that's the idea. The spacing between the two is going to be 80. I'm going to set it to 80. And this, I'm going to add a special padding of 40. Maybe increase it to 80. Let's see. Yes. Increase it to 80. Now I'm going to change the copy really quickly. So this is going to be this. This is going to be this. This is going to be this. And finally, we're going to put in the subtext. Paste and match style. Good. So this is what we have. And I'm going to combine both into auto layout, and then I can sort of work on them. This is going to be centered, by the way, so I'm going to center it. This I'm going to set to fill. And then I'm just going to space it like so. Maybe I want to close the space in between these just to make them a bit compact. So I'm going to set it to 12. Yeah, I think 12 looks cool. And what I want to do is add a bit of padding so that it comes to the center. I think I'm going to keep it at maybe 64. So everything is on one line, and this is perfect. Really nice. I'm going to add the image now for the Y section. So replace it with this one. Yes. So now, sorry, the how section. So now we're done with the how section. The next section is the testimonials, because testimonials are pretty important when you're designing an e-commerce homepage, because that is like a social proof section. It gives credibility to whatever, and as that human touch, like real people have used this and these are the results. That is going to have a very similar section to this. I'm going to just option drag it. We'll replace it with this and call it the testimonials. Okay. Why do I like turning my caps lock on? So testimonials section. So command cut and paste to replace. So it's going to follow this format. So the eyebrow is going to say, let me zoom in. It's going to say this. But it has to be caps. So I'm going to just quickly come here and do caps. And this says, don't take our word for it. So paste and match style. Yes. This side is going to have sections as well. But instead of having them fill as we see here, it's going to be fixed. So I'm just going to hit enter, change this to fixed, and then command D. So this is what we're going to have basically. So it's going to be a frame. So this is an auto layout frame, as you can see here. And what we're going to do is delete all the elements in the auto layout. We're going to put an image here, and then we're going to put a play button in here. So let me make this black so we can see what I'm about to do. Set the corner radius to 16. So I'm going to open my plugins, of course, my handy Iconify. I'm going to type play. We're going to look for a cute play button. Let me just not overthink it. Let me just do this and import it. I'm gonna center it because this is an auto layout. So first let me set it to fill and let me center it. As usual, I'm gonna hit enter. Wait, copy this first, hit enter, and then paste to replace and have it fill everything. The height of this is going to be, let me confirm, and the reference design is around 550. So let's do 550 or 600. Let me see, 550. That's not vertical enough. I want this to look as if it's a video review, so I'm going to make it 650. Spacing, I'm going to set it to 80. I don't know why it's 40. Let me go up and see whether it's 40 here. Oh yeah, it is. So I'm going to make it 80. I want to keep it consistent because it is 40 here. I'm going to make it 80 because I like to have a bit of space when working with this. So a bit of breathing space between the section title and the content. And now I'm going to include the AI images I generated for the testimonial section. I'm going to include them now. Yep. The AI craze these days is immense and intense and amazing, actually, because who ever thought that there's going to be a point where we can generate images like this? It's insane, such that if you want to, if you're working in the digital space and you want to turn something into like a working concept, the time within which you can get that done is really close, which is insane. But yeah, back to the testimonial section. We have this done, dusted. The idea is that once you get here, the cursor changes into drag, so you can drag and you can play to view the testimonial. So we don't have any typical navigation buttons here, and that's why it bleeds outside to make you also know that there's more content in there. Plus the cursor is going to change anyways. Now we're at the end. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. How many minutes? Oh, 53 minutes. We're almost there. So the last section is going to be the footer section. So I'm going to first, let me just drag those, no worries. And then call it the footer. Click this, hit enter, delete everything. And let's work on the footer. The footer, I may set it to maybe 700. I think 700 is pretty decent. And what I want to do is include the footer image. I have a very lovely footer image. I'm going to include that first thing into the background. Set this to fill. I can then crop it and then just move it a bit. Yeah. So this is the background image for our footer section. And we want to add the logo and a bit of copy. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to take the logo, come down, paste it here. And then let's add this because that is the copy font. And it says start your health journey with Chewies. So I'm going to paste and match style, change it to white, and have this in an auto layout. I'm going to set padding to 40 on both sides. Oh, where did I do 400? 40. And this is going to be, I think 80 is fine. The Chewies, I'm going to make it twice as big. Let me make it 3 times and see how it looks. No, I'm going to do twice. This works. This is going to be set to 32, sitting at 40 at the moment. And there we have it. I'm going to just drag it here. Set it to 110 for some spacing with the line height. Then I'm going to go to white for the background, set it to maybe 10. Go to effects, go to background blur, and then set the corner radius to 16. So that's what we have. Maybe make this 20. Yeah, that's what we have for the first section. And then we're going to design the get in touch section. So get in touch is going to use this as well. So I'm going to move it here, change it to get in touch, exclamation. And then we would use an element here. So because we've used it before, I just come copy that, paste it. So this is going to be like an input field this time around. This is going to be a button. So we're going to call it input field. And in here, we're going to have the button now. So I'm going to copy this, paste to replace, change it to white. And this whole thing I will set to hug, looking nice. I'm gonna do subscribe. Instead of get in touch, why don't I do stay in the loop? And this becomes enter your email address. It's going to be black. Maybe set it to 50. And I'm gonna, yeah, I think this works. Auto layout. Set this to auto layout. Set it to side by side. This goes here. This I'm gonna compress. Okay, I'm gonna make it a hug, and the spacing is gonna set to auto. This 80, I think 80 works, but I want this to be a bit longer. And then internal spacing should be auto. So now I can just make it this way. Well, I have to set it to fill. To set that container to fill so that I can now just, yes, I think let me just round it up to 480. Yep, 480 should be fine. We're getting there. Like the design itself for the footer, I want this to be centered and this to be, so it's gonna be on the sides of this product basically. So let me just move this a bit to the side. Instead of URL, let me just do enter email address so that I can have a bit more space. Perfect. Now I want to add the hero elements back to the footer. So I'm going to do that. So I want them here. I'm just going to paste it, change it to white. I'm going to delete the ellipses. So command select, delete. And I have this. I'm going to set a space of 16 and maybe change this to 40. Loving it. The final thing I want to add is copyright, privacy policy, terms and conditions, and returns and shipping. So that I can still use this. So I'm going to just drag that here, duplicate, shift. I'm going to set it to fill, change it to the horizontal layout, and set this to auto. So one is going to be on this side, one is going to be on that side. This I would just want one actually, so I'm going to delete these three. Start again, delete this, and the copy here is going to say copyright so I'm going to paste it here, populate automatically, and this is going to say privacy. Let me just delete one because we're going to have three. This is going to say privacy. This is going to say terms and conditions, and this is going to say returns and shipping. Yeah, I'm noticing that the elements are -6, but I want to set it to -2. So that's the spacing between them. I'm gonna come to the component and set it to -2. And as you can see, it automatically populates throughout. If I come here and click through, you see it's a -2. That's one of the reasons why I like to use components, and I'll advise everyone to use that. So now that we're done, we're gonna copy everything. So all the sections and auto layout, and the spacing here is 114, but I'm gonna change to 0. Now, if you want the navigation to so let me just name this desktop. And back to what I was saying, if you want the navigation to stay as you scroll, it would have to be on top of that layer, right? It has to be on top of it in terms of it being like fixed, right? So I'm going to change it to absolute position, and in prototype, I'm going to change to fixed. Now you're going to see why I did that. But basically, we've been able to design this in about an hour. And let me know what you think. Do you guys like the design? Do you guys love how it's looking? Let's quickly see how it looks in prototype. So I'm going to come to prototype, show prototype, go to prototype settings, and I'm going to choose Surface Pro 8. Maybe set the background color to a nice pastel background. And let's see it. It's loading up. This is looking amazing. This is looking amazing. I love how it's looking. Really nicely designed. Let me know what you guys think about this. I am going to create another tutorial where I design this in Figma. So this is going to be a Figma link I'm going to share to everyone. I'm going to see if I can put this link to this page, this file, this Figma file, into my community. So the Figma community, you can access it and play around with it and see what you can tinker with and tweak. I'd love to see a different design iteration to what I've already created. Let me know if you want to see a Figma video. I'm going to create that and put it on the channel soon. But thanks so much for sticking with me on this long ass video. I really appreciate you watching to the end, and I'm going to catch you in the next video. This is Jason. I hope you enjoy this. Stay blessed, and I'll catch you in another one. It's been a while since I did this, so sorry. I'll catch you in another one. Peace out.